My name is Teresa MacDonald. I'm the Associate Director for Public Programs at the KU Natural History Museum and Biodiversity Institute. Today I'm going to share our Act Like an AyeAye activity. AyeAyes are primates that live in Madagascar. One of the interesting features that we see in AyeAyes are their elongated digits. So they have very long middle and ring fingers on their hands. And they use this for percussive foraging. Percussive foraging is basically using sound to look for empty cavities in branches to search for food. So what we need for our activity is some paper to wrap around your fingers to make the elongated finger models, some tape and scissors to do that as well. We need a hollow paper tube. In this case, I think a paper towel tube works well. You can use a series of toilet paper rolls. You could use empty plastic tubing. Ideally something that isn't transparent, but of course if you use a soda bottle, you could cover it up. We're going to use those to make our branches. Then you need some plastic wrap and either some tape. I'm going to use some rubber bands to hold this. And then some sort of lightweight material to put inside, as well as something to look for in the hollow space. So this can be toy grubs, toy insects if you have them. I didn't have any, so I just made little paper model ones because you want something to be quite lightweight so it's not the distribution of weight that gives it away or the rattling around sound that it makes on the inside. So first we're going to make our elongated digits. So as I said, AyeAyes have elongated middle and ring fingers, so we're going to make those. So we'll start with the middle finger, and you want to use your paper to wrap it around your finger and then use tape to make a tube, basically make a long tube. You want it to be 2.5, 3 times the length of your finger. You can use paper towel tubes for this, or I like to use toilet paper tubes because you can do it in sections and that helps to make it narrower as the finger goes down. Because if you're using paper, you want to be able to twist the ends, tape it. So one, it's quite rigid, so I can use it to tap. And also, AyeAye middle fingers tend to be really quite thin as well. So that's our middle finger. AyeAyes also have really long ring fingers. So you want to make another one of those, but for your ring finger. So you want them to be snug, but not tight. So you want them to stay on when you're tapping with them, but you don't want them to fall off, but not too tight so that they're uncomfortable. This one can be longer than your digit that you've just made here. They tend to be longer and they tend to be quite thick, so you don't have to worry about making them as tight at the end. This is a model of my middle finger for my eye that I made before, and I used paper towel tubes and I covered it in black tape so it's nice and rigid. And this is the model of the ring finger for the AyeAye that I made. Now we want to make our model branches. So for our model branches, we need an empty paper tube. Again, it could be some other kind of paper tube, but we want an empty paper tube. And so what we want to do is have part of it empty, that we're looking for when we're foraging, and we want to have part of it that is not empty, which is the part we wouldn't be interested in because it's not going to have anything hiding inside. So you want something lightweight. You can use tissue paper, works well. I also find if you have individually wrapped toilet paper, that paper is nice and lightweight. It could be newspaper, anything that works for you. You stuff it in, and this is about halfway through. And then you can use something to cover up the end. We suggest balloons because I think it makes a really good sound when you're tapping on it. It helps to be able to detect the sound. I'm just using a piece of plastic wrap here and a rubber band to hold it on. You can use tape, anything that works. Then you have your hollow side, and that's ultimately going to be the part that we're looking for. And once you find a hollow side, you're going to look to see if it has an insect in it. Now, I didn't have any toy insects or anything that was lightweight enough because if it's quite heavy, it'll be unbalanced. It'll be obvious which side, and you want to be able to use your sound detection skills. So I just made a little paper model of an insect. So I'm going to use this to cover up this end. Okay. Now, ideally you can have someone mix it up or twist it around so that you don't already know which end has the insect in it. So we're now going to use percussive foraging, which is what AyeAyes do. So I'm going to wear my middle finger and my ring finger, and then I'm going to tap on it to try and find the hollow part. The hollow part, there's a chance that there's an insect or something living inside. So I'm going to tap and listen on what I think is the hollow side. I'm gonna uncap it, and yes, that was the hollow side, and I found my little paper insect. Now, generally, AyeAyes use their middle finger for tapping on wood. Sometimes they use the ring finger, but generally it's their really long middle finger, and then they scoop them out using that really, really thin middle finger. Ring fingers, they typically use for tapping on fruits and nuts to see if they're ripe. Now, what I like to do is make it a little more challenging, and I used a series of toilet paper rolls, and all nested inside each other. So I have some sections that are hollow and some sections that are not. So it makes it harder to do, and it's a greater challenge. That is our Act Like an AyeAye activity. Thank you.